bringing more attention to whether or not orca whales should be used during live shows.
Yeah, this group of girls is grabbing the eyes of lawmakers who are now considering banning killer whale shows in California. The trio delivered 1.2 million signatures supporting the ban, but SeaWorld says not so fast because that's their moneymaker.
It's profit. Absolutely, it's profit.
These animals benefit from doing all the variety of activities, including shows that we provide for them throughout the day.
And the girls were also able to get a school field trip to SeaWorld canceled.
Tonight on ABC 57 News at 6, Fighting Irish fans are flocking to Bridgestone Arena to watch a game that is literally history in the making. And ABC 57 News is there live for all of the action and reaction in tonight's championship game with special ABC 57 team coverage.
But closer to home, a house actually goes up in flames, but the danger intensified with exploding ammo.
And defects in bridges could make them dangerous. Who is inspecting them to keep you and your family safe on the road?
Well, those roads are dry, but they will be on the chilly side by the morning. I'll have all your morning lows just ahead. ABC 57 News at 6 starts now.
Covering South Bend, Elkhart, and all of Michiana, this is ABC 57 News at 6.
Tonight, two teams with untarnished seasons are leaving it all on the floor in Nashville. The Yukon Huskies are coming into tonight's game riding a victory wave.
I feel like we're the basketball capital of America right now.
Yukon Huskies! Huskies! Yukon Hoot!
But the Irish are in Music City looking for a fight.
It's always about Yukon, and so I think you just want to be the one that can upset them.
A heated rivalry.
A little bit.
Hatred.
You say it's a hatred.
Oh yeah, we don't like them and they don't like us.
Between two teams who don't know what it means to lose.
We're gonna do what we do. That's it, we're gonna win.
And ABC 57 is live tonight ahead of one of the biggest games in program history. And here we go, everybody, 37-0 and only 40 minutes of basketball left this season. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Chappell.
And I'm Brian Dorman. Right now, the Fighting Irish only have one more game standing between them and that all-important national championship title. We start our special team coverage tonight live in Nashville. ABC 57's Emily Evans is standing by with how Yukon and Notre Dame are prepping.
Yeah, but we start with our Emily Pritchard, who is live where all the Fighting Irish faithful are gathering right now. Emily, what's the buzz like there in Nashville tonight?
Well, it is very loud here in Nashville tonight. You can see I'm surrounded by some of the best basketball fans in the country, and a lot of them from South Bend and all across Michiana. You can see there is a lot of green inside this room and a lot of happy Fighting Irish fans. Now, these basketball fans, they needed something to do today, so they hit the streets soaking up a little country music and food before tonight's game. And if you thought they were hanging on to their school pride for this evening, well, you were wrong. Fighting Irish and Huskies gear lined the sidewalks, and some had a little more spunk than others. And while that's all in fun, tonight's game, that is more serious between these two undefeated programs. And here's what one South Bend fan had to say that he thinks is key.
Win one for Natalie, the ace, tonight. And it's going to be a slow climb. We're going to get ahead by 10 points, and then UConn's going to fall apart.
The excitement here tonight is happening at the Hard Rock Cafe right now. In just a few hours, tip-off is happening at the Bridgestone Arena. That's just a few blocks up the road here along Broadway. And ABC 57's Emily Evans continues our live team coverage from there right now. And we do know that the Fighting Irish are in their third national championship game in the past 4 years. Well, they're facing Yukon, the reigning national champions. And of course, people here cheering for the Fighting Irish. And Emily, how high are the stakes there tonight?
Well, hey, Emily, they're very high tonight with two teams and only one national title up for grabs. One team will have to suffer its first loss of the season tonight, and that intense rivalry in this historic moment in college women's basketball only fuels the fire. Head coach Muffet McGraw says this year's Yukon squad is bigger and stronger than last year's, unstoppable, with 39 consecutive wins under their belt. But where Notre Dame lacks in size, they gain in options. Yukon players say with so many players who can contribute for Notre Dame, the Irish are a threat to the Huskies' #1 ranked defense, and McGraw says familiarity with one another helps too. Here's what she says she's learned since winning a national title back in 2001.
I think it's so much more about psychology than about X's and O's. Trusting your team, having confidence in your team and your staff, knowing that you're not out there alone. But, I think just being calm and really letting the players play and have fun.
Now, that national championship game was back in 2001 against Purdue. If UConn wins tonight, it will be the program's 7th national championship title since 2001. Reporting live outside Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, Emily Evans, ABC 57 News.
And the Notre Dame-UConn rivalry actually has its own history. The Fighting Irish and the Huskies typically meet multiple times a season. Last year, 3 times in the regular season and again in the Final Four. Notre Dame won all 3 regular season games and fell to UConn in the Final Four. And that wound is still fresh for the Irish upperclassmen. But for the freshmen tonight, it will be their first experience sharing the court with UConn. We talked to freshman starter Lindsay Allen yesterday, who says she's up for the challenge.
I've watched the games and I've seen how physical it is and how much the teams appear to dislike each other, how much the coaches appear to dislike each other. So, I see everything about it, but I've never actually experienced it for myself. So I'm looking forward to that.
And of course, here with ABC 57 News, as we stay on top of every play tonight in Nashville, a fight it will be. We'll have extensive team coverage on ABC 57 News at 10 and 11. Will it be Notre Dame or UConn? Only time will tell. We'll be there every step of the way. You can also track the very latest online on abc57.com, Facebook, and Twitter.
Boy, that is going to be a heated arena tonight in Nashville, but back here at home, temps are actually going to be dropping tonight.
Yes, let's check in now with ABC 57 Chief Meteorologist Jamie Marnie is tracking a warm-up, though, from the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center. Chief.
Yeah, guys, got to get through a cold night before we start warming things back up across the area. At least it is on the quiet side right now. If you're going to be heading out around St. Joe and over towards Benton Harbor right now, you can see on ABC 57 First Warning Doppler radar, no problems from Market Street over to Lions Park Drive. In fact, expanding out that picture, we look just fine for evening plans here across Michiana. In fact, those skies were a little cloudy earlier, now beginning to clear out. So it looks like a fairly clear evening. That's going to allow the temperatures to steadily drop after sunset. Right now we're 54 in Elkhart. The wind's out of the northwest about 13 miles per hour. 55 in Rochester. If you're heading down to Rochester or heading out in Rochester this evening, looks just fine. 7 through 8 o'clock, temperatures just dropping in the low 50s, but into the 40s by 9 and 10 o'clock this evening, dropping all the way down to 45 degrees by 10 p.m. So a cool evening shaping up, a cold overnight, but that warm up is on the way. We'll have the very latest numbers with your 10-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Kim?
A house fire in Niles this morning took a very dangerous turn when ammo being stored in the basement started exploding. ABC 57's Alexandra Cohen is live for us on M140 tonight. And Alexandra, is everything under control there now?
Kim, everything is under control, but when I got here this morning, smoke was flowing out of the home and you could not see anything here on this road. This home that serves as an office space to a local trucking company went up in flames around 10:30 this morning. The Niles Charter Township Fire Chief says he had trouble getting crews to the scene because the majority of his firefighters are volunteers and have other day jobs. Eventually, there were 11 fire departments on scene helping to bring in water and stop the ammunition that was exploding in the basement.
He advised us when we arrived on the scene that he had approximately 5,000 rounds of ammunition in the basement, and at that time it was actually going off. He also had an issue with water, as always, and time of day is always a detriment for us because daytime like this, a lot of volunteer firefighters are working.
One man was inside the home when the fire started. He's pretty shaken up, but doing okay tonight. Reporting live in Berrien County, Alexandra Cohen, ABC 57 News.
New information here tonight in the death of more than 20 animals. A few weeks ago, we showed you an alley in South Bend where a young girl found a pile of dead cats, squirrels, and possums. Police tell ABC 57 that these critters were killed by what they are calling a projectile strike, meaning something like a BB gun or perhaps an air gun. Police are still on the lookout for the person who committed the horrible crime. They say that this person, they do have a person of interest, but they need your help finding them.
When we asked for tips, we got a tremendous amount of tips. So we know a lot of people had the same suspect in mind. So from that number of people that we got tips from, and we appreciate them, we believe that there's someone out there.
If you have any information, you are urged to call the Crime Stoppers hotline. Captain Trent also says there's a $750 reward for anyone who can tell them who's to blame.
And tonight, the very latest on the 2 Elkhart police officers who have been honored as heroes in the Martin supermarket shooting. Corporals Cody Skipper and Jason Tripp will return to full active duty with the Elkhart Police Department. The department's internal review is done, and they have confirmed that no violations of policy or training were discovered. The department called their actions and performance heroic and exceptional as they took down an active shooter inside the grocery store this past January. 2 people, 20-year-old Crystal Dykes and 44-year-old Rochelle Godfried, were killed during that shooting.
Well, listen to this. More than a quarter of all bridges down in Stark County are labeled as structurally deficient. Just yesterday, crews at the Highway Department closed one after discovering several cracks, even a broken beam. The discovery came just weeks after the county put in place a new inspection program. ABC 57's Daryl Pajoris joins us live on Bridge 27. That's near Yellow River. And Daryl, why did crews start doing this?
Brian, crews say they're gearing up for a potential change in state law. Right now, bridges are inspected once every year, but legislators want to make that once every 6 months, which is what prompted Stark County to take a proactive approach and start checking out bridges now. So far, they've surveyed about half of them and found only one major flaw. Right now, the Highway Department is figuring out how best to get repairs going.
After they do all 58 bridges, they come back in, we come up with a maintenance schedule, and that's the plan this year. We actually started that about 2 weeks ago. We were very fortunate that we did that because we found this catastrophic thing in the bridge.
In the next 5 years, crews hope to have all the structurally deficient bridges fixed. At this point, they're still securing the state and federal funds necessary. Reporting live in Stark County, Daryl Pajoris, ABC 57 News.
We do have new details in an overnight stabbing. A woman is now in police custody. Investigators say a 42-year-old woman is behind bars for stabbing a 51-year-old man in the back on Miami Street this morning. It happened around 2 a.m. in the 1500 block. The stabbing victim is expected to be okay and was talking to police.
Elkhart Mayor Dick Moore took another step towards trying to resolve the controversy surrounding sewer services to areas outside Elkhart city limits. The mayor just announced a moratorium on any new water and sewer connections outside the city. Moore claims this is the best way to avoid having to charge new homeowners the high water and sewer fees that have caused such heated debate here recently.
And tonight, a heads up for those of you who live in Buchanan. If you see a rust color in your water this week, don't be alarmed. Through Thursday, the water department is flushing the hydrants. The process can stir up sand or even rust, causing your water to look a bit off. If you see this odd color coming out of your faucets, just let the water run until it clears up.
Niles Community Schools has a new superintendent tonight. Dr. Michael Lindley will step in to lead the district, effective immediately, but only long enough for the school board to find a new permanent leader. The district struggled with some personnel issues in recent months. Former Superintendent Richard Weigel was forced to resign over an internal controversy. Lindley is expected to stay in place until the end of next year, in May 2015. That gives the Niles Community School Board a little over a year to find a new superintendent.
Now to an ABC 57 traffic alert. If you are out and about on US 31 tonight, expect to see it down to just one lane in each direction. That's between Johnson Road and the US 20 bypass. NDOT road crews are removing the center median and installing panel signs. You should be in the clear for the morning drive. The road should be open.
Just ahead, a mother's heartache doesn't lessen after her son disappeared decades ago.
How she's coping and hoping all these years later.
And right now, a nice evening shaping up. In fact, the temperatures warm nicely throughout the morning from the 30s into the 40s. Yet we're hanging out in the low to mid 50s right now. We're going to talk more about what you can expect for the rest of the evening and for the big game on Saturday coming up.